damn song stuck in my head.
Sorry.
We're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Eat the dog, eat the cats. Let's see.
See, I feel like if I put my phone up here, that the dogs are gonna knock it off. It's like, can I zoom out? No.
I can just move.
Well, the thing is I don't think we'll both see. It's like not wide enough, and TikTok doesn't do the. Are you live? You're already live streaming. I'm just in here talking.
It don't matter. We chilling right now. I don't think there's anybody in here anyway. Let me see. Well, we do have someone. Hello, whoever's here. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Stizzy Chronicles. I'm Stizzy, and I'm actually here with Lindsay right now. Lindsay is also on TikTok.
Trying to go live.
Well, oh, you haven't gone live yet.
Yeah.
She didn't start yet.
I'll get in there in a minute.
But we are just hanging out today for my workout fam. Today is a rest day. Me and Lindsay actually went to indoor skydiving today. We did indoor skydiving, which was a blast, by the way. First time for me, first time for her.
Yeah.
Of course, when I first get there, I'm worried because we were talking about. Oh, I don't know. Is it?
That's hooked up to my Bluetooth.
Where's the Bluetooth at?
It's
It's turned
here.
down enough. It's turned down
Yeah.
enough. All right, fantastic. Lisa, I see you in here. You see me cheating, y'all. I see you in here, Lisa. Oh, it does pop up on the screen. So we went indoor skydiving today, and then afterwards we went to Bahama Breeze. Got some yummies.
Yeah.
Now we chilling at Lindsay's house, so we are in Lindsay's RV right now. So something different. Indoor skydiving was fantastic. Okay, so look, we cheating. We got Lisa in here. She wanted to know how it was.
Oh, okay. What's up, Lisa?
With indoor skydiving, first walking in, right? It's right near. We're in the Tampa area, and it's right near little Top Golf, and then there's also indoor skydiving. So it's definitely where you go as a setup, because you probably get excited about one if you already set up for indoor skydiving, because then I got excited about Top Golf, but I was able to focus, luckily. I stayed focused. We get inside, and I'm already nervous, because the first thing that they say, like, if you've ever dislocated your shoulder, you probably shouldn't do that. Both of us have at some point dislocated our shoulder. Different times, of course, but still, I hear that, I'm like, oh my God. I was about to punk out. Lindsay was like, I'm doing it. I don't care.
Yeah.
She was like, I used to do football with this messed up shoulder. I'm doing it. All I could think about was like, I ain't got insurance. If I got to go to ER, this is not going to be a fun bill. But we did it anyway. And our skydiving, what? I don't even know what his
instructor.
The instructor.
Yeah, he's the instructor.
His name is Tyrese. He was fantastic. Van Miles, I see you in here. She says, hey, Linz. Van Miles is also here. Van Miles also does, she's a van lifer.
Oh, okay, cool.
Her husband. But are y'all full-time? I don't know. Van Miles, are y'all full-time? I feel like they do it, I don't know, because I know you were doing your last tour for a month. Or the plan was to be away from home for a month. But anyway, she's in a van, her and her husband. She also does post videos on YouTube too, so she has a channel as well.
Okay, cool.
But we got video footage, so they did film it.
Yeah.
The way we wound up doing it, because there's an option of, I guess, just standard, where you're probably a good 3 to 4 feet off the ground, up to 5 feet. But then they also have these high flights where they bump up the air that's coming from behind or below you, then it gets you up. I don't even know how high.
It's real high.
But it is really high. It's just this. Think of this big tunnel. If you've never seen the commercial, think of this big tunnel. It's a big air tunnel where below you there's a trampoline almost, but a mesh material underneath you. And then you see these big fans. These big fans are what gets you up high. And there's just somebody on the side outside of the tunnel that's actually working the wind, apparently. And Van Miles is saying she's part-time, but I was just being snowbird for 60 days. Okay, that's why you were out here. Originally from the Chicago area, so being a snowbird makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, listen, I came out here from Denver, and the week I left, my trip was delayed for a whole week. because it was so cold and I was afraid to pull this stupid thing because I was afraid I was gonna hit ice or something because I had never towed a camper before, let alone a 31-foot camper. Anyways, my trip was delayed for a whole week because it was negative 17.
That's not gonna work for me.
Negative 17. Never again. Never again. Here I am in my camper wearing barely any clothes in March. So
I remember when you left Vegas to move to Colorado, and I was like, that seems like that's an interesting choice. I would have never done it.
It was a good idea at the time. It was right for me at the time. I was super excited to be there, but I was more excited about all the breweries. At that point. Now I'm at a different point in life. Denver was just, it was too cold. It's like 9 months out of the year. You know, you're probably going to be cold at least half the week.
I can't do it. My body does not like that. Would I skydive out of a plane? I totally would. That is something that I was interested in, skydiving out of the plane. And in my head, the one skydiving memory that I have, not necessarily memory, but the thing that I'm excited to try in life, is back in the day when Power Rangers came out, and then Tommy, the White Ranger, came out with a snowboard, jumping out of the plane with a snowboard. I'm like, I don't know if they do that in real life, but that's something you can go ahead and sign me up for.
I feel like you can, because they were saying the girl that's the instructor, so this is at iFly, by the way. The girl that was the instructor said that she never had done any sort of skydiving before she started working there. And then she started working there, and now she skydives and does like 7 jumps in one day. So we were asking her how much it costs to be able to do that. And she said that her friend has like, what's it called? A jumper or something. But it's like it's like a jetpack basically that they wear, and it takes you way up into the sky, and they can just dump you off if you're skydiving. It's wild to me.
And she was like, that's a cheaper option. I'm like, I guess it would be.
Yeah.
You know, but the funny thing is, I would skydive, but the one thing that I don't feel comfortable, or thing I would not do, is bungee jump.
I wouldn't bungee jump at all.
And I'm like, you're still jumping. I don't know, you're still jumping, and for a good amount of time, you have no control over what's going on. But something about bungee jumping, I'm just like, I don't know.
There's something about that anticipate. I feel like I would be so tensed up, anticipating the part where it catches you and you pop back up, and I would be like, okay, am I going to bounce back up, or is this whole thing just going to snap? And that's it. Lights out, Lindsay.
And then you got to have that fear a few more times before they finally wheel you down. At least it's just, it's one and done with skydiving. But I would definitely do skydiving. You wouldn't do it, Van Miles? You are brave. Does that mean you wouldn't do it? I feel like, it's the ultimate thrill. It's the ultimate thrill. And it's just the idea of feeling like I'm flying. So, as a kid, always be like, if I could pick any power, any superpower, it'd be to fly. So, to finally have that sensation where I'm like, literally the wind in my fingers, in my hair.
Yeah.
And I want to go through a cloud. I feel like going through a cloud would be an interesting sensation as well.
Probably.
And
it probably would feel wet.
I mean, I just want that moment when you're just like, just water everywhere. I got to do it. I would definitely try it.
Yeah. Now that I did this today, now I kind of feel like I would be okay doing regular skydiving. It's not the same. It's not the same, but I think that now I got a little bit of the itch for it. So, I don't know. I might one day. We'll see.
I'm still going
to
opt for indoor skydiving for the next couple times, though.
For sure.
That was a good enough thrill, but it did definitely make me want to try some other things.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got, Van Miles is going to be our cheerleader, but she is not going to skydive. I got you. Van Miles, now you can skydive, but don't do roller coasters. And that's the funny thing is, like, it's weird. I used to do roller coasters. I used to love roller coasters. But nowadays, my body, after a roller coaster, it's like, ooh, I feel a little sick.
Yeah.
I went to Universal Studios years ago. And this is when I realized, like, oh my God, I'm getting old. At Universal Studios, mind you, solo trip. And when you go to Universal Studios by yourself, it makes the lines much shorter. Because they have the single rider line. I was in that nonstop. I got on the Harry Potter ride. Can't remember what it was. I got on it again, got on it again. Then at some point I got off, got some butter beer. Then I got back on that ride. After that I was done. I said, okay, so mixing food and movement Body can't handle that anymore.
No.
I want to say the last roller coaster I got on was something Kingdom in California. I can't remember, something Kingdom. Having my arms up like this and that bad shoulder, I said that's gotta end. We can't do this anymore on roller coasters. None of that. They gotta stay down. Hold on to the bar. The wooden roller coasters. I used to love wooden roller coasters. I got off that wooden roller coaster. I had the biggest headache. Body was aching. I said, okay, I got to go to water parks. From now on, I'm a water park girl, indoor skydiving girl. The thrills, getting on the roller coasters, getting on those things, just drop down. I said, body doesn't want to do it anymore. Mind might still want to do it. Body and mind are no longer working together. So
yeah,
gotta listen to the body.
I went to Elitch Gardens, which is like, it's basically the Denver version of Six Flags. I think it used to be Six Flags. Anyways, couldn't hang. I couldn't do it. I got a headache like almost right away. And then the girl I was dating at the time convinced me to do, it's like I don't know if it's not the slingshot. It's backwards from that. So they take you up in this thing and you're strapped in this little pod and you can go with two people. And they take you up really high as you can go, and they let you go, and then you just swing around like you're a pendulum. That was a lot.
I don't want to do that either. I've seen the videos similar to that, and in the slingshot, I guess, or where they show the videos of people and they're always passing out.
Oh yeah, that happened to my cousin's kid.
I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah, Jameson. They took him on the one where it's like, it's around, the thing is like around a saucer and it's around a pole, and they take you up all the way to the top, and then you sit there for a minute and you just anticipate the drop, and then they let go and you go down like this far, and then you're like, oh shit, they're gonna do it again, and then they keep going down, and then they take you to the back up to the top, and you go all the way down to the bottom. It's terrifying. But her kid, she has a video, and he was on his way down, and you just see him go, and he passed the fuck out.
Now I feel like it's weird that those rides we're saying no to, but then we're excited about the idea of jumping out of a plane.
I know.
It doesn't make sense. Like I need somebody to break down the psychology, because it definitely doesn't make sense. Yeah. But for some reason, I just feel a little safer, which still doesn't make sense.
Well, there's a net there as opposed to like not a net, and you're going 14,000 additional feet. Maybe is the difference, but. And then before we got in there, she was like, I'm sitting here trying to get Stiz to agree to go in the skydiving thing because she's worried about her shoulder.
I am.
And I was like, your surgery was like a long time ago. You'll be fine. And the girl was like, well, you know, we do have at least 2 shoulder dislocations each week. And she was like, I'm out. And I was like, that's not, that was not helpful.
I'm out of here.
That was not helpful at all.
Lisa's saying that they would have to push me out and I would still hold on. Is that you jumping out of a plane? I'm assuming that's you jumping out of a plane. I don't know. I want to try it at least once, jumping out of a plane, doing some skydiving. I do. But today was great. Today was definitely great. Thank you, Lindsay, for inviting me.
You're welcome.
Indoor skydiving, I think it's worth trying for everyone. Especially if, like Lisa, you don't want to necessarily jump out of a plane. You can at least get that sensation, but you know the ground is right there.
It was fun. Both of us the whole entire time, because we couldn't go at the same time, which I was a little disappointed about, because I was like, you know, you envision like holding hands, like besties for life. And just, but anyways, we had to go in separately, and every picture is us with our eyes about out to here just cheesing.
Big ass smile. Big ass eyes.
It was a good time.
At first, I had Lindsay go first. I was like, you going first, because I was a little nervous, right? And then I see her go out, and her eyes, the way her eyes are looking when she first goes out, and because you have on this helmet, can't really see the mouth. I definitely saw her eyes, and I at the time couldn't tell, like, is this a, oh my god, this is a bad idea, my shoulder hurts poppy eyes, or this is a, I'm having the greatest time of my life poppy eyes.
It was the second. It was
like,
the latter.
It was the second. When she came in, I was like, are you okay? And she's like, oh my god. I said, all right, bet, I'm going out. This is great. So I'm excited. We looked at the video. We looked at our pictures. Some of them, perfect representation of how we were feeling. Eyes, and now I can finally see the mouth where we are cheesing the whole time. The biggest grins.
And then we were both sitting out. You can zoom in almost, and I can see you watching me. And you're just sitting there cheesing, watching. It was a good time.
Definitely a good experience.
It was a very good experience.
You got people over here in TikTok? Hello,
no,
folks.
I don't have anybody on TikTok. I think that I probably need to. I was just thinking I might just restart my live because I don't think it's getting pushed out for whatever reason. It's not a big deal. I never go live on here anyways, but.
Van Miles wants to hello chat. Crystal's in here. Hello. Van Miles, now we'll try indoor skydiving. It's definitely worth trying. Yes, I definitely would recommend it. Now they got me. I'm definitely pushing for indoor skydiving for people who are like, I don't know, I'm on the fence.
Well, and the reason that we were able to go in the first place, just so you guys know, because I think that this is like a really great idea. My mom got me gift cards for iFly at Christmas. So she gave me 4 flights. So we had to use them all in one day, but I was able to bring her with me. But yeah, it's like, I think it was $150 and you get 4 flights. So if you're looking for a gift for somebody, like she got them for my niece for her birthday. She got her 2 flights. So anyways.
You have your little booklet. The booklet that they give is so cute. The little gift card booklet.
Yeah.
Chels's gift card booklet that also has like a little video, and I guess I didn't actually watch the video. Is it just like the safety video? The gift that they gave you, the thing that actually comes with it is pretty cute. So it was a fun experience. I definitely will recommend it. In Vegas, they have this ride where this is something I would try, even though I wouldn't do bungee jumping. In Vegas is at, I want to say, Stratosphere. I think it's at the Strat, where it's what they call a controlled fall. So they literally just bring you up to the top of the Stratosphere, and you do have a bit of a bungee, and then they just drop it down, but it doesn't let you free fall. It's not a complete free fall. It is, they make sure you're coming at a speed where they can control the stop. So this is the thing that they give you, the little gift card, but look how it pops into this little video. I think that's so cute.
It's time to feel free. To rise up.
So, lucky for you, when I do white water rafting. We got Lisa asking that question. Hey, I see my aunties in here. I would do white water rafting. I like water. So anything in the water I'm willing to try, except for maybe when they're like, hey, swim with sharks, you be in the cage. I don't know about that one. But white water rafting, I would totally try. I think, though, I need to baby step my way into white water rafting, because I've seen videos where people are flipping over just to make sure I don't go into panic mode. I think I need a little more experience in maybe like a kayak. I'll start off with a kayak before I go straight into the whitewater rafting. Or I would do the whitewater rafting, I think, when they have a group. That way, you know, I know somebody can get me in case something go wrong. Just being out there by myself, I need my baby steps for sure. So whitewater rafting is something I definitely try. Would you do that?
Whitewater
Have
rafting?
you already done it?
No, I haven't. And that's one of the things that I just realized I never did in all the time that I lived in freaking Colorado was whitewater rafting.
So you would be down.
I would be down 100%, but I also, she's kind of a little bit more scared than me to do stuff, so.
And you know why? Final Destination lives rent-free in this head. A lot of times, everything turns into a Final Destination, so I think twice.
Then they'll get you in a way that all of a sudden you'll be walking around outside, and then this block of ice falls out of an airplane and smashes you.
And then
just being completely safe.
That is likely.
This
that's
thing is
how
gonna make me
plays
mad.
out.
Sorry if I'm not trying to distract you.
It's all right. It's all right. But we were originally gonna pop in here as 2 individuals who are new to RV life, but hey, we made it happen. So we can it's 2 millennial friends who started RV life.
Yep.
That'll be like the topic today. So I wanted to kind of just remind people of my story and fill people in on Lindsay's story. If you haven't actually heard my story, like I feel like a lot of people are going this route where they like quit their job, sell their house, and then start this life because they just needed to break free from what was considered the norm. This is something that I kind of have been planning for years. As a teenager, when I say teenager, the idea of living in a camper was first introduced to me through MTV. Now, granted, at the time, I more or less was like, I want to be on road rules. Not necessarily this will be my lifestyle. But the older I got, having had the opportunity to live in a big city, having had the opportunity to live in the suburbs, having had those opportunities, I wanted now to be closer to nature. I always wanted more land than I had. You know, growing up, we didn't necessarily have a big front yard, a big backyard. So then when I wound up moving to the suburbs and seeing people with big backyards and big front yards, I was like, this is so amazing. And then I got to be, you know, on a person's land where they're like, I have an acre of land. I remember CK going to her mom's house, when she was just explaining the situation, she was like, yeah, my mom lives on an acre of land. I was in immediately. I was like, that much land one person has. And for some people, they're like, an acre of land is nothing. But for me, with my background, it was just like eye-opening. We got to camp. And mind you, I'm grown. We grown as hell. We got to camp on the land. I will never forget that experience. So all of that was building up. That like world, this magical world was just always just in the back of my mind. Just, I think this is something that I would absolutely adore. And the older I got, the more unhappy I got with the life I was living in, you know, cities, having people next to you, just always feeling crowded. When I finally buckled down and really allow myself to think, what do you want, what makes you happy, I realized, like, I need to be out there. I need to be out there with the grass, with the dirt, with the horses, with the cows. I need that. The people's is getting on my nerves. They're getting on my nerves. And as far as I'm concerned, I was laser focused until I made it happen. Now, it took a few years. There were a lot of times where I sidestepped because I didn't believe in myself. And then there were other times where I was really focused and ready to get this thing, make it a reality. But when I talk to other people now that I'm living it, and I hear people speak as if this is something that they're also interested in, but they don't think that it's possible. I'm like, how are we different? How is it that it was possible for me and you see that it's possible for me, but when you picture it for yourself, it seems like an impossibility? I don't understand that. If I can do it, you can do it. And people say that all the time, but it truly is. It truly is true. And then now I have a friend who is also living a camper life, and it is the most exciting thing in the world because I'm like, somebody else realized it's not an impossibility.
Yeah.
And now that she's in this world, hearing her just reflect like, oh, I'm excited about this, or I'm so content, or I don't know why I didn't start this sooner. I mean, granted, we all know why we didn't start it sooner. It wasn't our time. But just reflecting and hearing her reflect, it feels good to hear somebody and to see somebody that I know also experiencing this level of like bliss. And it's with not having a lot. Like you would assume in order to be this happy, you would have to be rich. You would have to have all the cars, all the fancy cars, fancy big house. You know, you in my mind, as a youngster, I thought that's what happiness was. And I'm realizing, like, the less I have, the happier I am. And I'm also realizing, like, the freer I feel. It's great. And I want other people to experience this. So I want y'all. Lindsay's going to tell more of her story. But once she's done with her story, I just want to know, for those of you who are like, I would love to do that, I want to hear your butts. Because there's always a butt, and I want to hear what the butt is so we can work together and figure out how we can erase that butt. Because I need y'all sitting next to me the next time. We got 4 places for butts to sit. Two more y'all need to be here. Lindsay.
Yeah.
Tell me how you got here. Well, we know you lived in Colorado.
Yeah.
How did we get from Colorado to living in a camper in Tampa?
So, FYI, we have been friends for 15 years, and we are Craigslist friends. We met on Craigslist back in the day in Vegas, so that's how we know each other. So our friendship has truly just come full circle with us being like heathens out at like every ladies' night Vegas had every night of the week, and it was a lot. It was a rough time.
It was, yes.
But like from going from that and then growing and like I feel like both of us have such similar like timelines of like around the same age we started to like find out about healing and so anyway, Stiz is a year ahead of me on the RV thing, but when she told me that that's what she was going to do, because she's always wanted to do that as long as I've known her, when she told me that that's what she wanted to do, I started asking questions because I had thought about doing the RV thing just to like, you know, pay off my house, or not pay off my house, but like sell my house, do the RV thing for a bit and save up so you can have a bigger house, right? Because that's that's the social norms that are taught to us. That's the box that we live inside from the time we're kids, is we're going to graduate and then maybe go to college and then get a job and then get a starter home and then get a bigger home and then get a nicer car, and like you're supposed to do all these things. So my purpose was to move into an RV, save money, and then get a bigger house. And that ended up, I didn't do that. I was married. I decided it was time to to get divorced. And I was like, okay, now that we're getting separated, I'm getting the hell out of Colorado. So I had been to Tampa, that's where I live now, last February, and just something inside me when I got here and came outside of the airport, it felt like home. I felt like this is where I'm supposed to be. So I had just pretty much decided last February that I was going to move out here, and then here I am. Less than a year later, I was out here, but I was gonna get an Airbnb, and it's like, I'll just get settled in, I'll go ahead and find a job, and then then I'll get like a rental house or whatever. And the more I started thinking about, like, this is the fucking life that you are trying to leave. Why would you sacrifice this opportunity that you have to truly start over, reinvent yourself, taking all the things that you've learned in your past and just start fresh, start over? So I started thinking about how expensive it was going to be to have to do the Airbnb in the house. And I'm like, why am I not just getting a fucking camper?
Now, y'all know I was pushing for the camper the whole
Yeah.
time. I was just like, no, screw that Airbnb. That sounds so expensive.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I mean, it was like, I wasn't sure what I was going to do. And then I posted a TikTok video about it, and it ended up getting like a decent amount of views, but there was like hundreds of comments, and they're like, dude, just get an RV. And it's like, this is something that I've wanted to do since I was a kid. I've always wanted to have a camper and travel around. It's always been a dream of mine during retirement to live in a camper and travel around and be a campground host. And now because I live so minimally, I'm probably gonna get a couple of side hustles to have some extra income, because everything's paid off now, but probably just get like some side hustles to be able to afford groceries and have a little bit in savings, and that's all I need.
Keep it simpler. I like the simple living. We have Van Miles wants to know, were you both scared or just hesitant to scale your home, not knowing where you would park your RV? And then Van Miles is also saying, so we're gonna first talk about that. So for me, in the very beginning, what kind of held me back was I had gotten comfortable in my situation. Like the jobs that I was in, since I was working customer service for so long, I knew I could always get a customer service job, even though I hated working customer service. I had a house. I knew everything was set in stone. And not having to really think about that or ever shuffle around, what am I going to do next? That was no longer a worry, and I just sat on that. So I got comfortable in that position, even though I was also unhappy. So I was also comfortable with being unhappy. At some point, I just had the opportunity. Good old 2020 pandemic was the first time that I was doing job or I was working at a job that was so different than what I had done before, and being able to work from home, working at night. I had a lot of the things that I wanted from a job. I finally experienced that, and I realized it was possible to make money and actually like the job. So then I started to stop saying, okay, I'm going to accept a job that pays me the most, and start accepting jobs where I liked what I was doing for 8 to 9 hours or 8 to 10, whatever my schedule is. That was the first eye-opening experience, like focusing on jobs that I like, not necessarily how much it was paying me. Then with my home, even though at first I was comfortable knowing I had a home, I also was uncomfortable with the fact that I felt tied down. I felt like I was stuck in that home. And I didn't want to be stuck in a stationary place anymore. I also was missing my family. Like, my family was always on the East Coast. I was on the West Coast. I felt like I was missing a lot of things. And with me having the fur babies, it made things a little harder for me when it came to getting up and going to be a part of what a friend was doing across the country, or what a family member was doing across the country, And I just got tired of that. I got tired of that feeling. And then I finally just kind of said, look, buckle up, partner. Buckle up. And there's I think that when I finally started to feel my strength, a lot of times I live through movies and live through movie quotes. In Tron Legacy, there's a scene where they say something on the lines of chaos. I can't remember the exact phrase, but essentially he was like, okay, our plan didn't go as planned. So now we're having to be a little more spontaneous. And he was taking that as it didn't discourage him. It actually gave him strength. So then I saw it as, you know what, I have gotten comfortable knowing that I know where my paycheck is coming from, knowing where I'm going to be sleeping at night. I've gotten comfortable in that, but I'm not happy. So I need a little chaos. I need a little chaos right now in order for me to start feeling alive again. I need to not know where the money is coming from. I need to not know where I'm going to park. I need to see how well I adapt to those scenarios, those situations, so I can feel alive. That's where my energy finally came from. And then I went ahead and said, screw it. I quit my job. I started the process of getting my house ready to be sold. I started getting rid of things, my possessions, because I felt like they were holding me back. I always had to deal with them. It was always something at the back of my mind, like, oh, what I'm going to do with this, what I'm going to do with this, when my body is elsewhere. So I was like, I need to get rid of those things that are holding me back. And now, even though, sometimes, like what just recently happened, I was parked at a place and now I have to shuffle around to find a new place to park. That used to scare me, but now it energizes me because I've always figured out a way to make it work. I've always adapted to it. So I know when it happens to me, I don't worry about it. I know I'm going to figure it out. And having that confidence allows me to be freer and maybe act a little more riskier. Some may see it as being reckless in a sense. However, it's been working for me, so I'm going to continue to do it because I'm not seeing it as something that's broken. I'm seeing it as something that has actually fixed my life, improved my lifestyle. So I'm going to just go with it. Now, Van Miles, I know one thing you're worried about is parking. Believe it or not, once you're in the situation, I feel like finding a place to park is actually not as hard as a lot of people think. Unless you're very specific about what you want when it comes to parking. I'm a little more open. I know you like to do parking at state parks and maybe finding a site with monthly rates and stuff. I see that in your comment. However, once you go on like Facebook, I talk about Facebook groups all the time. You'll see that there's a lot of ways to find parking that may not have come across your mind. For example, Wolf, the program that I just found out about. Wolf allows people who, it's almost like if you wanted to backpack, it gives you the opportunity to travel, find places to park your vehicle, and then in exchange, you may just work on the farm. Some people do it for a day or two, some people do it for a week, some people do it for months at a time. So that's one thing that you can start looking into when it comes to, I want to take my RV out, I want to park, where am I going to park? If you're open to things outside of state parks, outside of official RV sites, you can find options, people who are willing to let you stay on their land. They may have hookups, and in exchange, they're just like, hey, can you help with the chickens? Can you help with the donkeys, the goats? Can you help with these pulling up the cabbage? If that's something that you're like, I don't mind spending a few hours out of my day doing that because that brings me joy, you may find there's more options out there when it comes to finding parking. People are down for the trading of work in exchange for a good spot. And they're not like all crappy spots, Look on Wolf, that's an option where you can find places to park. Also, HelpX or XHelp, something like that, .net. If you actually just type in Wolf, and Wolf is 2 W's, type in Wolf, let it pull up the programs, and then start looking at alternatives. You'll see that there are options out there when it comes to finding places to park that just seem like it's a niche area that many of us don't think about. Once you're out in this world, I feel like those doors start opening up. You start finding those avenues, because this is something that out of all my YouTube videos, hadn't necessarily come across this opportunity. But now that I'm in this world and I have to figure out something, you're noticing like, oh, parking actually is like the least of my worries. Now that I'm out here, it's the least of my worries.
Yeah.
That's
That was my reservation, because I was even asking Stiz, like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I don't know where I'm gonna park. And she was like, believe it or not, look on Craigslist. She sent me all these different Facebook groups where people, like, there's a few of them that's like RV lots for rent in Florida, and you can go on and, you know, you may not find, like, the spot I'm at right now is not the ideal location that I initially wanted to be in, but at least I'm here until I can move, and it's month to month.
And let me explain hers. Now, she's also on private property, and this is, how big would you say this whole property is?
I think it's an acre.
Okay.
I think that it's a full acre.
Full acre, and we have the houses in the front, and then they kind of have a gate.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you pass behind the gate, then you realize there's literally like a mini RV park. There's how many people are parked in here?
There's 5 of us.
5 of us, okay.
Yeah.
On this property, and outside of this gated part of the property, it just looks like a regular house.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think if I had drove by on my way somewhere else, I wouldn't have thought like this is an option for parking my RV. It wouldn't have crossed my mind. Lindsay found this, and I'm like,
and I found this on Marketplace, Facebook Marketplace.
a lot of options on it.
So.
And then, you know, in addition to, so let's say Wolf, if you're willing to work in exchange for parking. Harvest Host also is really good when it comes to finding parking places. Who else is? Hip Camp. Hip Camp is great.
Hip Camp is.
And then, of course, like the terms that I'm giving you, I would also just go online and just be like alternatives to Hip Camp, because then you're going to see some other options. But there's just a whole world out here that I didn't know existed. I was blind to it before. And now that once you start touching it, you come across a few, your mind even might start thinking of other places to look, and you're likely to find something. So you like staying at state parks if you are okay with staying at a state park and once again volunteering in exchange. That makes, you know, not, you know, you can park there and not have to deal with the bill. So the money that you have saved up for your snowbirding time can be spent elsewhere. It just depends on your preferences, I suppose. Preferences comes into play, because I know some people are like, I would never park on private land. I need to be in an RV park. It needs to be official. There needs a place where I can go where there's a pool. There needs to be a place where I can go to work out. There needs to be a place where I can go and wash my clothes. Okay, that will then limit your search. But if you are open to trying new things and just getting a little taste of it to see if it works for you and your lifestyle, your personality, your fur baby's personalities, then it gets exciting. I'm personally excited about trying other things outside of state parks and outside of RV parks. I'm excited to see what's out and available to me.
Well, and I think that I was quickly surprised at, like, I was surprised at how quickly all of these things that I had initially said check all the boxes for a place for me to park, that quickly went away, because now it's like, I don't really need that. I don't need to be by a pool. I don't need to be, 10 minutes from the ocean, because I'm not working, so it's not going to kill me to be able to drive the extra 20, 30 minutes, So I think you realize really quickly that a lot of that stuff really doesn't matter when you think it does.
Van Miles says she's definitely down to trying other things. All she needs is electric hookups. Well, we got to get you. How's your solar? What's the situation with solar? Hey, Shelly, I see you in here. I don't know if Asia's still in here, Dr. Coulter, but Teeny was in here earlier. I'm just calling you by your name. I'm just talking to some family members, but
you're good.
With Van Miles, do you have any solar at all in your van? Granted, I understand you I gotta have my electric hookup, especially because if you're doing your, I don't know if you travel during the summers. Because electric hookups during winter, sometimes you can kind of slide by. It's not until that AC needs to run where I'm like, oh, I got to be hooked up somewhere.
But I also got a generator. Because I don't live. Stiz lives in a drivable. Mine is not. Mine's a 30-foot long, just like camper. So I don't have. Hers has a generator built in, but I don't. So I actually went to Harbor Freight, and I got a refurbished one sold as is for about half of its regular price. So that's an option too.
Portion, though?
It was just refurbished and they sent it back.
Oh,
so
okay.
I couldn't, I only had 5 days to return it if there was something wrong, but paying, less than $800 instead of $1,500 was
that's always
like,
plus.
I'll risk it.
I'm pretty refurbished stuff.
Yeah, I'm pretty handy. I can fix stuff. It'll be all right.
Let's see, Van Miles, she was saying she's waiting on her roof rails to come doing the project now. She can park anywhere. Yes, having when CK and I parked at the at Everglades and being able to just have the solar running, that is definitely a freedom where I totally understand when people are willing to put a lot of money into solar. I wanted solar before, but I feel like it's not until you actually are taking advantage of solar where you realize how great it is. Because now I'm willing to invest a lot more into making sure I don't even need hookups at times. Ideally, I would like to get to the point where I don't need hookups. Well, I feel like the AC is the one thing that's going to make things really hard. I guess I'll just base my travel and where I travel, knowing that I want to be somewhere, but I don't want to run AC and just live off of solar or a generator.
Then that's when it comes in handy that you can just go up north when it's cold and it'll be nice and cool up there.
Oh, okay.
Or like when it's not cold. Sorry.
Yeah, because I immediately said no.
When it's cooler. Yeah, she immediately no. This is the only person that I ever see will come out. It's like 80 degrees, hoodie, sweats, beanie.
Yeah, I need my layers.
I've never seen anybody as cold as you are. I promise.
That's why me and Maggie get along. I feel like she understands me as she snores away right now. Let's see. Oh, Tina's still here. I'm still here. Stop saying that. Hey, that's what it is. Y'all be out here, Shelly in here. We got a few family members in here. All right. So now Van Miles did tell us out, but Lisa, what's your situation? I know you all, you got the broken leg or ankle, but are you in an RV? I'm curious to know, RV or van? Are you living the nomadic life? We shall see if she's still here. See, as of now, I don't know how to. Gotta work to change. Well, she may not be in here anymore. No. There we go. Lisa's like, nah. Okay. Is that something you're interested in? Living nomadically, or are you good with being stationary?
It's freeing. Like, this is honestly the most free I've ever felt. And I literally just told Stiz earlier, like, I'm content. And I think that instead of, when I stopped thinking like I need to constantly be happy and aiming for happiness and realize that aiming to be content is the most realistic goal that you can have, because no matter what happens, bad or good, it's like I'm still content, I'm still good. And I'm just like content.
I am too.
This RV is, I mean, it's 31 feet long and 8 feet wide. It's less than 200 square feet. And I'm more happy here than I would be in a big 2-story, 5-bedroom house. Like, I'm happier, It's freeing.
It's funny that, you're like, I'm very content here. And Girl at the Beach, I see you in here. You're not late. You on time, okay? Just when you're supposed to be here. For me, now, prior to having an RV, I actually lived in, I want to say 1,600 square feet, whatever that means. But 3-bedroom, 2-bath house with a little garage, okay? So that's the space I'm working with. But it's just me at the time and my 4 fur babies. When I first moved into the house, when I was super excited about it, I was using all the rooms. There was always time where there was a reason to use all the rooms. But later on, the longer I was in the house, as I'm approaching year 4, year 5, I'm realizing that I'm not using that much space. This was also as I'm I'm changing socially. I went from wanting people at the house all the time to being like, I only want a certain amount of people at the house to I only want certain people at the house sometimes. So as I went through that change, becoming more introverted, I also was going through a change where I didn't need multiple bedrooms. I didn't have a use for it. I was literally always in my bedroom. And then that was the moment when I realized, like, I'm always in my bedroom. I can easily downsize to a camper because that's all the space I'm using. And one thing that I had came across, and I think it would be interesting for others to actually see, there was a gentleman who was talking about his downsizing experience, and one thing that this individual did was he started tracking his steps to actually see how much he walked around his house. And once he realized how small of a space he was actually using based off the steps and tracking his steps, he was able to downsize his home. It wasn't someone who wound up going to RV life. I don't think that was the situation. I think his life was just becoming a minimalist, and that was a eye-opening moment for him to be like, I don't need the amount of space I have. I'm literally looking at how much of my home I'm using. Let me go and get something smaller. His goal was, of course, to become, a minimalist, help with debt and things of that nature. That was his goal. That was that video was about. But it was interesting to actually hear that. And I want to say, once I came across that video, listening to his tip, that's when I started taking note of how often am I using the other bedrooms? How often am I finding use for my bedroom, and it's becoming like the all-purpose room? And it made the jump down much easier. I still have a lot of stuff. I still have a lot of possessions. I'm still working on getting rid of those. So, I feel comfortable in my 30-foot RV. Do I feel like I'm prepared for a van? No, absolutely not. But I can see myself, if it continues to progress the way it is, getting more and more comfortable with even smaller spaces. And then, I don't think I would have. That's once again one of those things that you start to realize, and you realize it even more when you're in the environment, once you're finally in that smaller space. You're like, it's not as bad as I thought. And I am happier because it's less to worry about.
Yeah.
When I had to worry about 3 bedrooms and 3 bedrooms worth of stuff, 2 bathrooms on top of that, and 2 bathrooms worth of stuff, I feel like that weighed my brain down. It's always something that's on your mind, something that's nagging you, something that's sucking the happiness out of you. Now I have far less things to worry about.
It gets dirty real easy though. Like if you leave one thing out, it feels that. I mean, that's not a negative. I'm just saying, like, there's a lot less to clean, but it also then you're like, damn, I got a lot of stuff still. I need to get rid of some of this stuff. There's no need.
How are you? How on the scale from I'm exactly where I want to be to 10, like I got way too much stuff. Where are you as far as the downsizing?
The downsizing, man, that's like a loaded question because the thing is I still have stuff where it's like, and I almost mentioned this to you earlier, I am still very much in the mindset of, well, when I have a house one day, I'm going to want this. And it's like, why am I thinking that way?
Okay.
Because that's not, I don't, like, yeah, okay, eventually, if I were to have, like, financial freedom more so, like, I don't know, let's say I write a book and make some money and I could just buy a house. Would I do that? Or would I just get a better RV? Like, I'm very comfortable with not having the stuff. So, anyways, I'm trying to get out of that mindset.
So you're still thinking like a homeowner?
I'm still thinking like a homeowner, yeah. Mm. And so there's, like, I've got, like, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, like 3 duffel bags. Why do I have 3 duffel bags under my bed?
They must have somebody.
Where am I going to go? I don't know. But, yeah, anyways, I still have stuff that I am thinking, like, I probably am just going to get rid of that.
The downsizing part is a process. And it's a longer process than I was prepared for it.
It's
but
the clothes,
I think it's interesting
man.
that you still are. So clothes, yeah. Mine's is clothes and pet stuff, and tools I'm okay with. Like I feel like I made sure to keep all my tools with me. But that's something that I'm like, I'm willing to always save space for that.
Yeah, I'll keep my tool. I mean, I got rid of a lot. I owned a home remodeling business, FYI, for the chat. So I had all the tools, and I got rid of just about everything. But yeah, that was hard to part with my tools. That was real. There was a lot of stuff that was really hard to part with. Like you have, like, I had baby clothes from when I was a baby that my mom gifted back to me. Like, what? I'm not having kids. I should have dressed up the dogs up in it.
You could have.
Like,
You could have. You
Yeah.
could have. Here, we're going to hit up the chat. All right, so Dr. Aya, aka my auntie, have y'all run into seniors living, people over 50 living nomadic life? Now, for me, yes. In fact, where I just came from, everybody was older than me. One woman, I want to say, was 45, so she doesn't quite hit that. And I think another was in her 60s. Previous to that, when I was in Nevada, I was living on private property. And the neighbor, she was in a home. However, she still had an RV on her property. And prior to settling in the home, she was living nomadically for years. I mean, I'm talking about like 20 years. And her partner, I don't know if it's like husband, boyfriend, he lives like another state. So they just meet up like for months at a time and then just go RVing. But she does still have a home base. However, it seems to me that although now she has a home base, I want to say more or less just possibly for medical reasons, she's still out on the road. Her boyfriend, partner, whatever he is to her, he still travels, and they're both much older than me. So there are quite a few people who are living nomadically. I feel like a lot of people kind of similar to your situation where it's like they're older. If they had kids, well, this part isn't your situation, but if they had kids, the kids are older. If they were in a relationship, that relationship is no longer active. So they're now finally living what they call the life they wanted to live, or being free. I actually thought coming into it, I would run into, I would have, I already imagined that this lifestyle was more or less for people who were seniors. And so far, I haven't, outside of your neighbors, I haven't seen a lot of people my age. I as of yet, have not come across a lot of people my age. Most of the people that I've actually met who live this lifestyle are older than me.
Yeah. I think you get to a certain age and you're like, fuck it.
Yeah.
I'm out. I'm not living the rest of my life, the next 40 like I did the last 40. It's not happening.
Mm-hmm.
But my neighbors are locals here, though. Like, they bought the camper to live in. So they're from here. And they've got, like, actual regular jobs in town. But a lot of people are just work remote.
Mm-hmm. Work remote.
Yeah, they're
a lot of
actually
people,
local here.
Okay. The individual, my previous lot mates, they did a lot of gig work. One of them was a retired teacher. I believe that was her profession previously, or at least education of some sort. And now she just does gig work. The other one, who's closer to my age, also does gig work. And previously, she did a lot of work from home, but in the corporate field. So right now, she's like, I'd prefer gigs, where I have the freedom to pick my schedule. But when money gets tight, then I go back to the corporate world, get a job where I'm working from home. And then when I get tired of that, then I go back to gig work. I also am looking more for the gig work type of lifestyle as opposed to having to go back to a 9 to 5. I personally just felt like now that I've been away from it for so long, if I had to go back, it would just be, I feel like my body, mind, and soul, everything will reject it. It would just be a terrible experience. Everything about it would be wrong, and it just wouldn't be worth it. It wouldn't even be worth the 2 weeks that I'd be in there before I quit. So that's what I've come across. Older people are definitely in this world. Let's see, Rhonda, what else we got going on? Not going, hit up chat, not going to get rid of my home for later years, but I'm looking now for my mobile home. All right, let's see. I watch Van Lifers all the time looking for the best rig for me. Yes, Rhonda, keep doing that. Keep doing that. In addition to looking at van life videos, are you actually going out to actually be able to sit in a van? Like if they have some type of, for example, they have RV shows. If they have some type of van show, where you just have the opportunity to see what exists in this world? Are you taking advantage of those opportunities? Because prior to getting my RV, I used to go to dealerships all the time and just go from RV to RV to RV to RV, get an idea of the layout, get an idea of what it'd be like to rummage around in there. It was my, hands-on experience. I was window shopping. I think it was very motivational. The funny thing is, everything that I saw at that dealership, I actually don't have. I didn't get, because once it was time to actually commit, I realized the price point that came along with those things wasn't something I was willing to sacrifice. So, you know, while you might I don't know if that's gonna happen to you. You might look up. Maybe you looking at these videos, when you get it, it'll be the perfect van. But don't be mad at yourself if when it's time to invest, you like everything I looked at was almost pointless because I done got the complete opposite. Don't feel bad. It happens.
This, if I would have seen pictures of this one online, I wouldn't have entertained it probably. But I went in person to the dealership and looked at all the used ones, and I was like, oh, this is fucking perfect. And it's a 2010, so.
So you 2010. I think mine was 2012. I have a 2012er. Sometimes that used, especially if you're comfortable with DIY work, it's used really starts looking very much appealing once you start associating that price with not used. I'm like,
Because my neighbor's was $36,000. I paid less than 10 for mine, so.
I don't want to have to. The whole point of downsizing and getting a camper was to get rid of the debt. So for me, committing to a $30,000 price tag, unless I have that money on hand, is not something that I would entertain. Not these days. We got some folks.
I think I got some
here.
movement down there. Probably not.
Let's see. Rhonda, the dog. You hear?
Somebody's in here. Thank you for liking. Whoever's liking.
So the funny thing is, Rhonda's like that dog is getting some good sleep. Yup, that is Maggie.
Oh yeah.
Where is she?
She's behind your foot.
Okay, so she's. Are you even asleep or are you just heavy breathing?
She kind of does both.
A little combo pack.
Yeah, I've wondered if she's like got sleep apnea before. I don't think she does. I think she's just loud, you know. She's got a little few extra pounds, so she struggles to breathe.
We're thickums. Van miles. My opinion about having a van is I should got what I really wanted since 2013, and that is a Class C. So you got the van, but you wanted the Class C. Do you? Well, I'm curious to know why you wind up going with the van instead of just following through on what you wanted. I'm curious about that. Lisa, would you want to buy land? Lisa, I personally do and I don't. What is interesting is now that I technically don't own much of stuff, I don't want to own stuff. The idea of having land is absolutely exciting, but the idea of maintaining the land and paying for the land, not so exciting. So I would prefer somebody else buy the land and I just be on that land. I be able to take advantage of the benefits of that land, but not have to deal with the annoyances of the land. So I'm kind of getting to the point where ownership is not exciting so much. Granted, the RV, that counts as ownership, but like home ownership, land ownership, I know that there's a headache that comes with it that I don't want to deal with. So I probably, for a good while, lean towards just mooching off somebody else's. I don't mean to point to you like I'm a moocher off of your land, but I would. I'm just saying like that's.
You would be welcome. Welcomed 100%.
I want the land, but I don't at the same time. So for the next couple of years, I see myself just living on somebody's land, but still. I want that. I like the space of when people have land.
And then you also learn very quickly. It's like, I don't want to be tied down anywhere. I don't want a reason to have to be. I love the thought of if I decide to pick up and leave here tomorrow and go somewhere different where nobody knows me and I don't know anybody, then I can.
That's
out. I'm out.
See
ya. I don't vibe with this anymore.
I think that those are one of the headaches that I'm referring to. Because even with land, with a home, you got to worry. If I leave the house, will somebody squat in my home? Same worry comes when you have land. If I have land in Florida, but I want to spend a few months in New Mexico, do I have to worry about what's happening to the land? So that's kind of one of the things where I'm on that fence. Do I want land? Do I not want land? Let's see, Rhonda, what else we got? I've been renovating my home and I realize I have too much stuff, purging left and right now. Yes, the renovation process is one of those times where you're like, oh my God. Especially it's like I'm trying to fix up this room. In order to fix up this room, I got to move everything out this room, put it in another room, and now this room there's absolutely no room. I'm assuming that's what you're experiencing because that's what I was experiencing when I decided to renovate my house. And it gets, I was frustrated with myself sometimes. For example, you having your own baby stuff, even though you don't have plans to have children. It's just like, why am I holding on to these things?
And yeah, well, and there's like, both of us. It's like once you get into a space this small, it's like even if it's something that you thought, yeah, I'm gonna hang on to that has sentimental value. Then you start looking at it when you're downsizing for the 4th time in the month. Like, I don't really need this. I really don't need it, and I haven't seen this for years because it's been in a box. So
I'm cheating now.
throw it out.
My way
Throw
to
it out.
I feel like this camera, is now, instead of holding on to stuff, I'm like, look, I'm gonna record it. I'm gonna make a video, post it. That's my memory. I gotta get rid of the physical.
Yeah.
The memory, the association that I have, the emotional association, I can still feel that by looking at a video. And it's not necessarily like I'm posting it on YouTube, but just making a video or just recording it. That's my way to start cheating when it comes to the downsizing process and getting rid of things that I'm like, oh, I have to hold on to this forever so I can have this memory later. I'm gonna watch a video. The actual item is going to somebody's thrift shop. I ain't got the space for that. Let's see. Van miles trying to also think about renting van or Class C. Price, yup. DJ just bought a house but not stopping there, looking for a travel trailer. Wait, I can read. Just bought a home but not stopping there, looking for a trailer to travel in the future. You trying to do it all, DJ? Go ahead now. Just when now this home that you have, how much land do you have? Because I will pop up, okay? And I will park my little RV until you get yours. And then I can help with the grass or something in exchange for paying rent. Just throwing that out there. Rhonda is, I believe, talking to Van Miles about renting a van or a Class C. So you thought about renting. Yup. If buying one is not part of the plan or an option, renting is definitely a good idea. You can still live that life even if it's for a weekend. I encourage such behavior. If someone bought land and wanted to rent space to a few RVers, is it possible? So yes, it is possible. Girl at the beach. The thing is, with each city, each town, each state, they have different rules, and you would want to know what your local ordinance and your local rules are. For example, I'm pretty sure where we're parked is not legal, okay? So, similar to my situation, we had someone, my landlady had like a 2-acre, had 3 RVs that were rented out, a 4th one for a family member, and then they had one just stored there. All it takes is for somebody to complain to code enforcement, and that whole thing is shut down. That's what I dealt with. So you got to be mindful of where you buy land and what the rules are, but there's definitely opportunity to do that. I just think that a lot of the cities are going to look at it as you're running a business, and then that opens the door for all other type of stuff. I haven't really done a lot of research on it because I don't plan on having land and renting it out to RVers. I've done just enough research to understand as someone who's looking to rent and be on somebody else's land. So I'm in a position where I know, like, okay, I try to at least be mindful, like, based off where I am, let me see what the city orders are. I got to figure out if it's a likelihood that this could be shut down, and if it is, I got to be prepped and ready for the next move. So, yes, but you need to do more research. Okay. Rhonda wants to know, did I make it to the Strawberry Festival? Lizzie did.
I made it there.
I made it to Plant City.
Stiz is the type of person.
I didn't make it to the
well,
festival.
And I almost told you to just come here and ride with us for that very same reason, because I'm really not that far out of the way. She's the type of person where if she gets down there and doesn't want to have to find a parking spot, she'll go home.
And that's
So she
what I
drove
did.
all the way out here, over an hour,
It was.
and left.
I did.
And
I just want to explain though, okay? Because I was really excited about attending the Strawberry Festival. However, I did my research because I try not to go places. Remember, people starting to like, being in crowded places. I don't really work well in that situation too much. And even though I like big events, I only am willing to go to a big event if the parking is straightforward. If I have to drive around, that gives me time to think of how much I don't want to do it, and then I gotta go. When I got out there, I had my little map that showed all the places where parking was legal, and it already told me how much I was gonna have to pay. When I got out there, the lots that are part of the festival, that are officially a part of the festival, they were all full. Then what was available looked like very illegal parking to me. For example, there was one lot that was clearly parking for a dentist. Somebody had a sign that said $20 and they were letting people in. I didn't feel comfortable with that. I felt like everybody that was out there with their $20 flags or with their little flags and their little $20 handwritten signs, like y'all couldn't even get it printed. I felt like it was a lie. I felt like I was going to come back to my car and it was going to be towed. And then when I spoke to the business owner, they were going to be like, we never said you could park there. I don't know who you paid that $20 to, but that person wasn't even supposed to be here. Your car is at Bumblebuck Tow Company. Now you got to get it. And I didn't want to deal with that. And I do want you to know, when I left, the further away I got from that traffic and all that craziness, the happier I felt. So I knew in my soul it just wasn't meant to be. But she had a great time, and I got to look at her videos. It was great.
I even went back. I went back the second day, but it wasn't, well, we're not going to get into that on the live. But I did go back because the first day I went with my neighbors, and they were going to a show that night, so they kind of had to get back. So I did go back on Sunday, and I felt better that I got to check out the whole thing. And they had these tacos there from, like, it's a barbecue joint, right? And everything is strawberry focused.
So strawberry tacos?
It was a barbecue. It was a beef a brisket taco, but it had strawberry pico de gallo. So instead of having, it was fire.
And luckily what I'm able to do is absorb the happiness that she is her vibes are giving right now. So I feel like I was there, and good. That's good enough for me. But whoever let's see, wait, somebody was like, you should have jumped in the car with Lindsay. I absolutely should have. I should have. What did we do?
But you were already gone before I could even, because I literally sent a pin on my phone. We share locations anyway. Literally, park at this person's house. That's where I parked. Because it's very common here in the Tampa area for people to, like, the football stadium, everybody parks in people's yards and they charge $10, $20.
Oh, okay.
So that's very common out here, but I was literally like, there's parking where I was. It's $10. Like, go to where I'm pinned. And she's like, I don't care. I'm going home.
I'm ready to go home. Because at that point, the traffic, I wasn't turning around. I was like, if it's not on the street that I'm already facing, like, it needs to be on the side I'm on. It needs to be in the direction that I am.
Yep.
Because by the time I messaged her, I was already set on going home. I was just trying to be nice and let her know I was, instead of being like, I'm home. Because sometimes I'll be like, I'm already home. And they're like, I thought you... No, I'm sorry. I at least let you know I'm going home.
Well, and I looked at her location, and I was like, oh, yeah, I guess she really... Because she's gone.
CK has been on the other side of that multiple times. Nowadays, I'm just like, if we got to... When my friends are like, oh, we're going to hang out on the strip. Where on the strip? Is there free parking? Because if it's not, either come get me, I need to go to your house, you need to drive, or just don't even expect me to be here. Just tell me about it tomorrow. That's how I work. Rhonda's like, they do that all the time. See, I just feel like it's not legal. You just have to jump in the car with Lindsay. Absolutely. There we go. I do love strawberries. So, Girl at the Beach, you need to come to the Strawberry Festival here in Tampa.
They had everything.
Or the Tampa area.
Everything strawberry. It was good.
Rhonda's like, the traffic is horrible.
Tampa traffic is bad. It's not as bad as Denver. nothing out here. It's not as expensive as Denver. This is all like a little step down for me because I'm used to it. But I'm pretty surprised at how long it takes to get very short distances out here
What do you
with
mean?
the traffic.
See, look, that's when now for me, I try to stay away from any place where traffic may be an issue. So I am usually, when I was parked before, I'm an hour away from where traffic builds up.
Yeah.
I do that on purpose. I always say like an hour away from the city because I don't want to deal with anybody's traffic. And there's a lot of cities that I want to visit, but people are like, the traffic is so bad. And I'm like, well, you know what? If I have to drive in that city, I'm never going to see it.
Yeah. See, that doesn't bother me. I'm like, so I'm in Tampa. Stiz is north of me. It's like on any given day, probably a solid hour and 20 minutes to her house to where she's at from mine. And it's really not that far. But for me, I'm closer to Tampa. So I'm like right on Tampa Bay. Like I'm 7 minutes from Ybor City. I'm 10 minutes from downtown Tampa. I'm an hour, maybe less, from St. Pete Beach and Clearwater Beach and Sarasota. So I'm in like a good central location. I like being close to so many different things because I like to go and do. You just like to be in the house.
I do. It's nice. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm a house person. I like to be in the house, or I don't care for being where it's super crowded anymore.
Yeah.
I had it for so long. I literally lived pretty much on the Strip for years. I used to live right across the street from the Rio. If anybody's familiar with the way Las Vegas is set up, I lived right across the street from the Rio. It was a little condo, some condos over there. So I literally had been in congested areas for a lot of years. Now I'm just want to be somewhere where I have space. And being close to the city, I don't have that space. I like being able to come down occasionally, and then occasionally I have to deal with that traffic. I have to deal with all those people. But to have to deal with them on a regular basis, no.
Yeah. Now, my one thing that I will say I'm not like stoked about, it's not a deal breaker obviously because I'm here, is there are like being in a spot like this with so many people around. These people out here have kids. They outside screaming for no reason. The neighbors will have a party on Friday night and it's jamming until way after my bedtime and I'm old. There is a lot more noise where I am parked than I would like, but it's kind of like a pros and cons thing. Eventually the right spot will come up, but this is good for now, you know? Like it's not a deal breaker, but hearing people's kids screaming outside right in this exact moment actually.
They had one of the families out here got a bouncy house right in
They
front of
do.
their RV. They just had that inflated with the kids in there. I'm like, okay.
I just imagine Ruth running over there and just popping it.
Hopefully, it's no balls over there because then she's gonna have a field day.
Look at her.
They both.
Look how tired she is.
Because she's been chopping all day. I don't know where I-4 is. I-4, what city is that? Is that here?
4 goes 75. 4 goes east from here to Orlando, I think.
Okay, because she's saying
Is that right?
Rhonda's saying she avoids I-4 like the plague.
It goes east and west, right? From like out towards like Plant City and yeah, that's 4.
Okay, that's where I was. I might have been on it and I didn't stay long.
You made it to Plant.
I was in Plant City. I was seeing all the signs when it was like Strawberry Town and and I saw people little baby gardens. I was like, that's so cute. And then as soon as I got to Main Street or whatever street was in that area, everything just slowed down and everything was just too tight. And I remember first being excited to being like, this ain't, hold on now.
All you had to do was say, I'm going to pick you up and you're going to drive my car and park it.
That's what we should have done. But then the problem is because it was so, coming to your house would have been like almost an hour and a half. Then to go to Plant City, what was it? From you. For me, it was like
it was a while
30.
from here, but also we were waiting to get off the interstate because the traffic was so backed up for a solid half hour.
See? No.
But I mean, out there, when we were out there, you could have been like, where are you at? Because I need you to park my car or I'm going to go home. You know?
Because I didn't have the time to even have that conversation.
No, you're
just
there was
out.
No,
I couldn't even go anywhere to park because they was selling those parking spots. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, I could have parked where the dentist was, called Lindsay and be like, hey, I need backup. But no, I couldn't find anywhere to park, even just to pull over and have a conversation with a friend.
You know, neurodivergent problems.
really like
There's
distressed. But it's okay, because then what I did wind up doing was going to Costco. I need to get some food for the dogs. So that was fantastic.
Oh,
Got some
see,
gas.
I got you out of the house. Yeah, good.
I made sure to get myself a hot dog drink combo. I thought about getting the strawberry sundae in honor of the strawberry festival.
Yeah.
Then I decided to save a few dollars because I had remembered how much I had spent just in Costco, and I feel like I only got 4 things, and it was $300. Or at least it felt that way.
I just dropped $160 at Costco and still had to go to the grocery store after.
They laughing at Maggie right now, snoring.
Mm-hmm. Y'all can hear that?
Yup. Bam, I was like, I'm laughing so hard at the dog. Lisa, is that dog snoring? Yes, she is. And the thing is, y'all can't even see her. She's just down here.
She just curled up looking cute.
We got another dog over here, but she's not snoring anymore. We got 2 sleepy doggies.
Yeah.
2 sleepy doggies.
Yep.
Let's see. And we got people in your TikTok.
I don't think so. I wasn't even paying. I think that it probably
TikTok.
just, there's one person
Popping out.
in here. Yeah, it's not even pushing the live out at this point, but it's probably because I have it just like shoved over there and didn't bother to set the camera up more presentable. It'll go on whoever's For You page needs to see it.
Well,
right, Maggie?
We've been on for a little bit. I'm enjoying this live, but I do also want to hang out with my friend because
our time got cut short unexpectedly.
It did.
We had so many plans.
We still gonna try to get it because after doing the drive back and forth while we were doing the Florida exploration, I'm still down to do that again. So I can still. It's just a matter of working on this farm, figuring out like, okay, do I have off days? What are my off days? And then I can do like a weekend driving down.
Well, and I can ask my landlord too if you can pull up in one of these spots for a few nights.
That would make it real easy. Then we still be close to everything. So we just gotta see.
Yep.
Parking, even though there's some question marks, I'm not super stressed about it. I know something will be available. So never let that stop you from exploring a bit. You'll find parking spots. There's so many things. All right, so Van Miles is already saying good night. Good night.
Good night. It was nice hanging out with all you guys.
Lisa, DJ, Rhonda, Girl at the Beach, Shelly, my auntie, everybody who stopped in. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Tomorrow, once again, we will be going live, or I'll be going live at 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, just chatting. And then, what's today?
I don't know.
That's another thing.
I don't ever know what day it was. Listen.
Tomorrow's Friday. Then Saturday, we're back to our workouts. We'll be starting week 3.
Listen, the other day, this is how, detached from reality that I am being out and living in this camper, is that the other day I woke up and I was like, damn, I slept until after 9 o'clock. Wow, I really must have needed that extra sleep because I don't normally sleep very late. And later on, I was on the phone with my mom, and she's talking about time change. And I'm like, what do you mean time change? And she was like, the time we did spring forward last night. And I was like, we did? I had no clue.
No clue.
I mean, my microwave clock wasn't set. I was always just going by my cell phone in my truck. I went the whole entire day. I had no idea that we had gained an hour or lost an hour.
I don't know which way it is. I know an hour did something.
Yeah, no clue.
I also... Days of the week, nowadays, this lifestyle, days of the week mean pretty much nothing to me. Weekends mean nothing to me. And apparently, time changes.
Yeah. I don't give a shit about weekends.
Every day's a weekend when you're happy.
Well, and I was, talking to...
Anyway, we're going to head on out. Thanks for stopping in.
Yeah.
And everybody, I hope to see you soon in the workouts.